Every clear night, millions of people look up at the sky and ask themselves the same question. Are we alone in the universe? Our galaxy, the Milky Way, contains hundreds of billions of stars, and there are also hundreds of billions of such galaxies in the universe. It seems simply inconceivable that amidst this endless ocean of space, life would have originated on just one tiny planet. And yet, we see no trace of our cosmic neighbors. Scientists call this silence of the universe the Fermi paradox. But what if one day this silence is broken? What if they do exist and they make contact? And before we make contact with aliens, make sure to subscribe and leave a comment telling us whether such an outcome is likely or not. Imagine a typical Tuesday at one of the world's radio observatories. Massive telescope dishes methodically scan the sky, listening for cosmic noise. For decades, they've been doing this, and for decades, only silence has answered. Astronomers analyze gigabytes of data, mostly just interference, signals from pulsars or distant quasars. But on this day, everything is different. The computer registers an anomaly, a signal. It's narrowly focused, repetitive, and unnatural. It's unlike anything the known universe produces. It's complex, structured. At its core is mathematics. The initial reaction isn't euphoria, but skepticism and the strictest scrutiny. Scientists worldwide, bound by secret protocols, begin cross-checking the data. Could it be a glitch in a new satellite? Or a sophisticated military project? Maybe it's just someone's very elaborate prank. Weeks are spent ruling out any earthly cause. The signal is confirmed by observatories on other continents. It's coming from a single point in the constellation Cygnus, from a distance of several tens of light years. No doubts remain. This is it. First contact. And this is where things get really interesting. Contrary to what Hollywood movies suggest, no one will be calling a press conference right away. The first to know will be the governments of the world's leading powers. Top-secret meetings will begin at the highest level. Why? Because the news of extraterrestrial intelligence is the most destabilizing event in human history. It could shatter global religions, trigger mass panic, and cause chaos in financial markets. Remember Orson Welles' radio drama, The War of the Worlds, back in 1938. Back then, the dramatization of a Martian invasion caused genuine panic, even though it was just a radio play. Now imagine that the news is real. But it's impossible to keep such a thing hidden forever. Sooner or later, the information will leak out. And now, that day has arrived. Leaders of the world's largest countries deliver a joint emergency address. They announce, humanity is no longer alone. What will happen in the next minute? The internet will explode. News feeds will be bursting. Some will rejoice, seeing this as the dawn of a new era. Others will be terrified, expecting an immediate invasion. Religious leaders will try to fit this event into their doctrines. Scientists will become the planet's biggest stars. An era of global uncertainty will begin. But once the first wave of shock subsides, a new, even more complex challenge will emerge before us. Understanding what exactly they are telling us. After all, the signal won't just be a simple hello. Most likely, it will be an incredibly dense array of information, a sort of archive sent our way. Why? Because an intelligent civilization will understand that real-time dialogue is impossible due to the immense distances. Light traveling from them to us takes decades, and our reply will take just as long. Therefore, it's logical to immediately send as much data about themselves as possible. Beginning to decipher it won't be easy. We have no common language, no shared concepts. But there is something universal. The language of the universe. That's mathematics and physics. Most likely, the message will begin with fundamental constants. For example, with the number pi, or with a sequence of prime numbers. This would be a kind of tuning fork that will prove we are dealing with intelligence. Then they might move on to describing their basic chemistry. For example, to show the structure of a hydrogen atom, the most common element in the universe. By the way, many projects searching for extraterrestrial civilizations, like SETI, are specifically looking for signals at the emission frequency of neutral hydrogen, which is about 1,420 megahertz. It's believed that any advanced civilization will understand that this is a significant frequency. Let's assume we manage to crack the code of their language. What would we find inside this archive? It could be a galactic encyclopedia containing knowledge we can't even begin to imagine. Imagine blueprints for a source of clean and virtually infinite energy, cures for all diseases, from cancer to aging, new laws of physics that would allow us to travel between the stars. It would be the greatest scientific breakthrough in history, a leap that would take us thousands of years to make on our own. But along with their technologies, we'll likely receive something more: their history, their philosophy, art, music. We'll learn what they look like and how their society is structured. Perhaps they'll show us their mistakes, the wars and ecological disasters they endured. This won't just be a set of instructions, but a mirror in which humanity will see itself from the outside. We'll learn which paths of development lead to dead ends and which lead to prosperity. This knowledge could unite humanity like never before, making us reconsider our own conflicts and values in the face of something far more significant. And here, humanity splits into two camps. We face the main question: should we respond? The first camp, the optimists, will argue that we are obligated to do so, that this is our chance to join the galactic community, to exchange knowledge and culture, and to put an end to our cosmic loneliness. They will say that a civilization capable of sending such a message has most likely overcome its internal aggression and poses no threat. However, there will be a second camp too, the pessimists, and their arguments will sound no less convincing. They will recall the words of Stephen Hawking, who warned against attempts to contact extraterrestrials. He compared this situation to the encounter of Native Americans with Columbus. For the Native Americans, this encounter ended in catastrophe. Who's to say that it would be any different for us? They will bring up the so-called dark forest hypothesis, described in the novel by Chinese science fiction writer Liu Cixin. Its essence is simple. The universe is a dark forest full of lurking hunters. Every civilization is a hunter. No one can know another's intentions. Therefore, the safest strategy is to remain silent and not reveal your location. And if you discover someone else, the best thing to do is to destroy them before they destroy you. After all, you cannot be certain of their friendliness, and the risk is too great. This debate will unfold on all levels, from kitchen table discussions to United Nations sessions. Responding would mean revealing our exact location, our vulnerabilities, our biology. It would be like shouting in a dark forest, "I am here, I am unarmed." Not responding would mean forever forgoing the greatest opportunity in our history, remaining in our cradle, potentially missing out on salvation and incredible development. This will be the most difficult choice humanity has ever faced. But regardless of whether we respond or not, the mere fact of receiving that signal will change us forever. Our place in the universe will never be the same again. We will realize that we are not unique. We are merely one of countless species, struggling to survive and make sense of our existence. National and racial differences will fade against the backdrop of the realization that we are all Earthlings. Our petty conflicts over resources and territories will seem like the absurd squabbling of children in a sandbox. Science will receive an incredible boost. A whole new discipline will emerge, xenology, dedicated to all things related to our celestial neighbors. Thousands of the brightest minds on the planet will spend decades deciphering and analyzing the message they receive. Philosophy and religion will face the greatest crisis, and at the same time, the greatest opportunity for renewal. For many, the concept of God will either disappear or transform into something far more encompassing. Perhaps we'll discover that the universe is teeming with life, but most civilizations perish, failing to overcome what's known as the Great Filter, whether it's nuclear war, ecological catastrophe, or something else entirely we can't even begin to imagine. And then the message won't be an invitation, but a warning. And at the same time, a hope that we, unlike so many others, will manage to pass this filter. Of course, all of this is just speculation for now, a scenario based on our own fears and hopes. Perhaps first contact will be entirely different. Maybe it won't be a radio signal, but an exploratory probe that one day simply appears in Earth's orbit. Or, even more incredibly, contact has already happened, and we simply don't know about it. But one thing is for certain. The day we receive confirmation that we are not alone will divide our history into before and after. It will be the end of our childhood as a species. We will emerge from our planetary cradle and face a vast universe full of mysteries, dangers, and opportunities. And the main question that will remain after that is, will we be ready for what we see there, and for what they will see in us in return? Meanwhile, telescopes continue to listen to the silence, in the hope of one day hearing within it the echo of another intelligence.